Hello there everyone and welcome to episode 2 of Gaiety Guests with me, your host, Jerry Taylor. Now today's guest is a very, very special one indeed and needs no introduction, but I'm going to give you one anyway. This man's career has spanned for almost 60 years. He has had audiences in stitches up and down the country. He's known for his variety, for his pantomimes, and he has also had 2 top 20 hits in the UK charts. The stage is set, so let's get him on. You've guessed it, it's the man, the legend, Mr. Dean Park. And here he is, the very man himself, Mr. Dean Park. How you doing, Dean?
Thank you. What an introduction, eh?
Oh, I tell you,
what
listen,
an introduction. I never even get walking on.
We'll do a walk on, right?
We'll do a walk on.
We'll do it now, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
quick
we'll do
walk,
this
right?
again,
Do it
right?
again,
Okay. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the very man himself, Mr. Dean Park.
What an entrance, eh? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing,
How
pal?
you doing, Jerry? I'm fine.
Honestly, Dean, I cannot explain how excited I've been that you're coming on this show. Tell us, Dean Park, how did it all begin for you?
The first I remember was my father. I'd be probably maybe 4-year-old, 5-year-old, around about that age. My father used to work in the Alhambra and the Empire in Glasgow. Backstage, he worked there. He worked in the post office and he used to work there at night times. And he used to take me in and they would sit me up the back of the circle. And I used to put in a seat at the back of the circle and I'd sit up the back of the circle. And that's my first memory. My first memory is seeing these shows. Now, I'd be there maybe 2-3 days a week, just sitting up the back of the circle. And I loved it. I loved it. What happened was I sang through school, as you do, and the choirs in the school and going through school. And then by the time I got to like 12, 13, the pop business had started, the Beatles and all that had started. So the boys at school decided to have a band. So I was in the band with the boys at school. And that's how I started. I started singing in the band. And I loved doing that. And I stayed in the bands probably till I was about 20, I think. And then I got offered a job in the dance hall in the Locarno Ballroom in Glasgow with a big band. That was my first sort of big job. I was singing with a big band and it was a great job, a big 10-piece band, 6 nights a week. It was great, great learning platform because you had to learn loads of songs and stuff. So I did all that. And then I progressed from that to, I was in a band, another group after that. It was on the telly, we did Opportunity Knocks in the mid-70s. And then I went solo 1974. 1974 I went solo. And I then got asked to go on Opportunity Knocks on my own the following year, and I did that on my own. The following year was the first year I was ever asked to come to the Gaiety.
The following year after you'd been on Opportunity
Knocks, the following year, that was 76. I was here in the pantomime was 77.
Brilliant. So for anyone watching that's maybe a little bit younger than
I'm 106.
So Opportunity Knocks, if I'm right in saying, was pretty much the Britain's Got Talent.
It was.
Day.
Hughie Green. It was the programme. Monday night. It was the big programme Monday night.
And did you win?
No, I was second in both occasions.
Second both times?
Both times. The big man decided, I'm out of this. I'm going to be on my own. And then I went on my own, and that's when Dean Park was born. Did the telly Opportunity Knocks on my own, 76. And then the following year, I got a job as the host and compere in the Golden Garter in Drumchapel in Glasgow, and I was there 5 nights a week with a band. And the following Christmas, I was in here in the Gaiety, my first pantomime.
And do you remember what the first panto was?
Mother Goose, Johnny Beattie.
With Johnny.
Johnny Beattie,
Mother Goose. Beattie.
Who else was in it? Russell Lane was in it.
So was Johnny playing Dame?
Playing Dame.
And you were?
I was playing Principal Boy. And Ronnie Christie and George Paling were in it.
And what was your experience like of your first ever panto?
Oh, amazing. In those days, the pantomime was a big pantomime, the big band and all that in the pit in here.
Aye.
And one microphone.
One mic?
I let the boys know that. There's only one microphone. He used to come up through the ground there. And we used to dive to the middle of the stage to get to the microphone. And everybody would be pushing each other out the road to get to the microphone. And that's what it was, we had one microphone.
you started getting Panto at the Gaiety, you get your first Panto there, you played the Principal Boy.
Principal Boy. I had one song, sang Isn't She Lovely? Isn't she lovely? That was a song I sang.
You still remember as well?
I still remember it, aye.
But you've no, over the years, you've pretty much moved on for Principal Boy.
I got asked to go to Kirkcaldy, and I went to Kirkcaldy to play Wishy Washy in Kirkcaldy with the Chuckle Brothers. Remember I was telling you about the Chuckle Brothers? Oh, the
Chuckle Brothers.
Chuckle Brothers. And that changed me. That was a change for me going to do that. By doing these things, I got opportunities. You get opportunities to do things in your life, and you've got to take them with both hands. And that's what I did. I got a chance to go on the radio, got a chance to do the pantomime. We'll talk later on about playing Dame in pantomime and things like that. When you get the chance to do that, I was a bit reluctant at the beginning to put a frock on.
Really?
Oh, aye. Oh, aye.
Maybe we can't get one off you.
That's it. I was a cool comic, you know what I mean?
Right, I get that.
And playing buttons and Wishy Washy and pantomime like that. And then I got asked to play Dame, and it was quite remarkable. I was like that. Because I remember the first time I did it, I was doing Butlins at Ayr, and I used to have to do 4 programme changes a week. And that's a lot, 4 programme changes a week. So I was working 5 nights a week, and I would have to do the theatre. We did 4 programme changes. And I remember my 3rd year or something, somebody says to me, why don't you dress up as a woman, as a cleaner? And I'm like, I can't do that. No, why don't you just do it? And I did it, and I loved it. I went on, dressed as a cleaner woman, and I just loved it. I just loved the reaction. And the following year, somebody came and they said to me, oh, the lady from Inverness Pantomime would like to see you. And I went, oh, brilliant. So I went for a meeting with her. And I said, oh, what are you doing? She said, oh, we're doing Aladdin. I said, oh, that'd be great. Wishy Washy. She said, no. She says, well, when you play Dame. And I'm like, what? When you play Dame? And that was the first time I played Dame, was in Inverness. And we did Aladdin, and I played Widow Twankey in my first pantomime up there as a Dame, and I absolutely loved it. And I remember doing my first couple of years playing Dame, and the makeup and all that, and I remember going to see Stanley Baxter, and I remember going to see Ricky Fulton, and I remember speaking to Stanley Baxter and chatting to him, and he said to me, you shouldn't wear so much makeup. And I went, what? He said, remember, it's you they see. You don't have to wear clown makers. I thought you had to have big red cheeks and eyelashes and all that stuff. And you don't need that at all. I learned from that. And if you look at them, like Ricky and Stanley playing Dame, they didn't wear a lot of makeup.
Right.
Because it was them, it was their face, and people knew it was them. So that's what I got from it, and the more I did it, the more it was me that was doing it.
I mean, if you're going to take tips for anyone, Stanley Baxter, I mean...
Absolutely. And I used to work with Bernie Clifton, remember Bernie Clifton?
Bernie Clifton with the ostrich. The ostrich, that's right.
The ostrich. So I worked with Bernie, and Bernie said to me, why you no doing gags? And I said, well, I sang songs and I did a bit of chat. He said, no, you should be doing gags. And I thought, okay. He says, right, we'll get half a dozen gags and go on and do them. So that night I go and do half a dozen gags, and I did them, and I liked it.
Aye.
Because people were laughing, and I'm going, I quite like this. So that was the start of that.
Right.
And I started doing more gags and more gags, to eventually I was doing like 40 minutes of stand-up act. And that's how that started. I came back to the Gaiety in 1983, was the next time I was back here. And I was here with the legend that is Frank Carson.
Oh, wow.
We did pantomime here with Frank Carson, and it was a riot every single night. Every night was a riot. It was fantastic, and I loved it.
Did you get a buzz off it? Were you doing it because you felt like, oh, well, the work's there, I have to do it? Or did you just want to do it?
No, I think you're driven. When you're young in your career, you're driven. I wanted to achieve, and that's what I did. By doing these things, I got opportunities. You get opportunities to do things in your life, and you've got to take them with both hands, and that's what I did.
Who would you say were your biggest influences, like celebrities that you just wanted to be like growing up?
Tommy Cooper. I absolutely loved Tommy Cooper, you know, and his style, I loved Chick Murray.
Brilliant.
I loved Chick Murray. And then, of course, I went on and I absolutely loved Billy Connolly. You know, Billy Connolly was a huge influence on me. I mean, I remember being in here on doing a Gaiety Whirl one night, and I'm on, and I come off, and the stage manager was sitting in the corner there. He says, I don't want to upset you, and he says, but Billy Connolly's standing up the back. Oh. And I went out, I was like, oh. I was like, what did you tell me that for? And that was my first time, and of course I met Billy Connolly, I became great pals with Billy Connolly after that.
Amazing, so you good pals with him?
Yeah, but I'll never forget, I'm saying, don't want to worry or anything like that, but Billy Connolly's sitting up the back. And then, of course, the people I worked here in the Gaiety with, great stars that I worked here with, but Ken Dodd was amazing. Ken Dodd came here for a week, and then, of course, I worked here with Jack and Ricky, Francie and Josie at the Gaiety. Wow. I did their last tour.
So you were on the last tour?
The last tour I did, and we ended up in Glasgow. I'm on the stage at the King's in Glasgow. It's the matinee in the afternoon, and I had a great relationship with the two of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm on the stage, and I've come off, and Ricky's comes out the dressing room, and he says, Jack, tell him what happened. And Jack says, what are you talking about? He says, tell him what happened. Jack says, you were on. He says, and he shouts me and says, listen to the applause he's getting out there. He goes, listen to the applause he's getting out there. Jack says, Ricky, that's the air conditioning. It was the air conditioning noise. And Ricky's going, listen to the applause he's getting out there. He says, it's the air conditioning.
So you'd gone from your singing career, your band, to your solo career, to when Dean Park was born, when you came to the Gaiety. Right, so we need to speak about radio, because obviously radio has been a massive part of your life and your career.
I first started a small radio station in Glasgow, and the following year I got a big job. I got the job in West Sound Radio, on a Saturday morning. Gordon MacArthur was the boss there, and he asked me would I come and do it, and I did it, and I loved it. It was a fantastic job. I loved being in West Sound, and I was working in the Gaiety at the time as well, and I was working down at Butlins at here as well. So it was great. I was here, and I was on the radio here, and I was there for 4 years, and then I got headhunted out of there, and I went to Radio Clyde, and that was the job.
Was that like
that
the
was
creme de la creme of the DJing gigs?
That was the job. And I was 17 years on Radio Clyde on a Saturday and a Sunday morning.
That's 17 years?
17 years.
Every Saturday, Sunday morning?
Every Saturday, Sunday morning.
Like without fail? Did you obviously get a holiday now and again?
Well, occasionally I'd get off, even when I was doing the pantomime, I'd be doing the show in the morning, and because I think to myself, how did I do that? I was up, especially at the weekends, I would be up at 7 o'clock in the morning, do the radio show, finish there at 12 o'clock, jump into the town, get something to eat, do a matinee, do a night show, get home at 11:30, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning again, go and do the radio, go back in and do the Sunday, because we were doing Sundays then, Sunday matinee, Sunday night. Thank God we got Monday off.
Oh, you got the Monday off, that's all right then. You had shows all prepped, didn't you? You'd just done the Dean Park big night out a couple of years ago.
Here,
And you did the hospice stuff as well, you did a big show for them.
Two big variety shows we did.
And what did you have booked for just before?
Well, we were coming, I was supposed to be back here, but the date was earlier this year, then it was put to August, and that's been now moved to next August for the Gaiety. Right. And I had touring dates that were going out in August. They're now going into February next year. I've not sang a song since the 5th of March, 2020. I mean, I've performed every week for 50 years. And all of a sudden last year, you can't perform.
Like that?
So it's going to take us time to get back to get to speed, to get back to doing what we do. I would hope we're up and running by February next year, up and we're able to go in and do the shows.
It's been a long couple of years for us all. I'll be there, and you're not going to get more of a laugh than coming to watch this, man. All right, great stuff, Dean. Now, we're going to get a bit serious here now. I think it's common knowledge, it was in the papers, that you suffered a bit of a scare, a bit of a health scare a few years ago. Are you all right talking about that just now?
Absolutely.
You want to tell us? So it was cancer, wasn't it?
Absolutely. A malignant melanoma I had under my cheek. And it's a bit of a story. I had I had this wee mark on the side of my nose for years, for like 10 years, and I'd been going to Ross Hall in Glasgow, private, to get it looked at, because my mother kept saying to me, you want to have that looked at? And my partner kept saying, you want to have that looked at? So I'd keep going, and they kept saying to me, it's okay, don't worry about it, it's all right, don't worry about it. And then one day I had a wee white thing in my ear here, so I went to my own doctor. He said, oh, what about this? He said, I'll send you to dermatology at the Victoria Infirmary, which is the NHS, wonderful NHS. So I go and see this consultant, and he's looking at my ear. He says, never mind your ear. He says, what's this here in your face? Oh, I says, I've had that for about 10 years. And he looked up the notes, and he says, well, I'll tell you what. He said, do you mind if I do a biopsy of that? I said, no problem, carry on. So he gives me the biopsy. And he phones me like 2 days later. Could you come and see me? So I go back and see him. And he says, look, he says, I've had 3 pals that are pathologists looked at this. You really need to get this attended to. And I didn't know what he meant at that time by attended to. So he sent me to the maxillofacial surgeons at the Southern General, Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Glasgow now, it's called. And I went there, and that's when I found out they didn't know exactly the extent, but the bottom line was if I hadn't been operated on at that time, I wouldn't have been here 6 months later.
Really?
So it was close as that. And I didn't realise the extent of the surgery was going to be. And I had, if you remember, I had a big black face for about nearly a year. And I'm absolutely fine. I've been absolutely fine. And I worked with it. I worked with my face in a wee bit of a mess for a while because I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. And of course, audiences are wonderful because they understand. The funny stories go along with it as well. I mean, I've got a face, I've got a big black face, and the doctor said to me, I would stay in the house. He said I would stay in the house for a month. He said. So I've lasted like 2.5 weeks. So we're going to Asda Govan. And of course, we're going to Asda Govan, and nobody bothers. We're going to Govan, and I say to the guy, I didn't know where the stuff was. I says, where's the milk, pal? And he says, oh, just up there. And no reaction at all. And there's a lift and an escalator in Asda Govan, and we're going up the escalator, and there's a man and woman in the escalator. And the boy looks at me and he goes, what's happened to your face, big man? I says, I had an operation. Aye, so you got a job as a Phantom of the Opera now. And you can't write that, you see.
It's Scottish humour, isn't it?
Scottish humour, it's just wonderful, wonderful. And I laughed and laughed and laughed about that, you know. And what I'm saying is, if you've got, I've do it with all my friends, if you've got something wrong with you, go and see about it right away, because I've had a couple of pals have had a couple of investigations done, and they've had cancerous pieces removed from them because they got it early, and that's the important thing. So if you've got something wrong with you, go and see about it and get it fixed. That's what to do.
So once again, I want to say congratulations, if that's what you would say, for recovering, for getting through the cancer. We're all so chuffed that you're still here, pal. Still
absolutely.
here. So let's move on to something a bit cheerier now.
I remember doing a sketch in here, and to this day, it was a summer show at Gaiety Guests, and it was Russell Lane and I made water pistols. With water pistols, and it started off with a wee water pistol, and the water pistol got bigger and bigger to a huge big water pistol. And the tag was, I used to just stand at the side there, and the boys used to drop a baby bath full of water out the flies. I'd get absolutely
right, all over you?
Oh, aye. And I got absolutely soaked, and it was freezing every day. We used to put cold water in it. Used to drop this water.
The audience might not see it as much, but like with the crew, it's a family.
But it's like that. It's because we're together for such a long, concentrated time. You know, you're like, at that time we were doing like 100 shows in a pantomime. I don't know, now you probably do what, 60, 70 shows or something like that. And you're together for like 2 or 3 weeks rehearsal, and then you're doing the show. So you're close contact with people for like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, a lot of days. And that's what bonds you together. That's definitely what bonds you together. I've got great set stories. I was in the Pavilion in Glasgow, and it was a big box set. It was Jack and the Beanstalk, it was Andy Cameron and myself. I was playing Damon, and they opened the set, and it was a big truck, and it was a cottage, and I was sitting down the stairs on a rocking chair, and it opens up, and Andy's in his bed, in a bed in the bedroom upstairs, but it's on a big box set, and of course the tabs go up, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden I become aware that the set's moving forward. The thing's moving forward, the box is rolling forward. And it's going, and I jump off that. I jump off it, and I'm holding the side of the set. And I'm shouting, "You better come down, son, we're moving house." And the place was going off its head. And I look down, and all I can see is the band trying to get their gear out, getting out the pit. Because this whole box is heading towards the audience. And eventually, 3 crew dive on. They'd forgot to put the wedges under the wheels. And this is rolling down the stage. And I'll never forget, I come off and I'm in the bar after it, sitting in the bar after it. And Jack Mulroy was in the audience, and he came in and he said, "That was brilliant, big man, brilliant." He says, "You need to keep that in for the rest of the run."
We're moving house.
Aye, we're moving house. We're moving house.
It's absolutely brilliant that you can still make gags when something like that's happening. But you were telling me earlier on, I want you to tell this story, when you played the lion at the Pavilion in The Wizard of Oz.
I'm dressed as this lion, you know. And I'm dressed as this lion, and it's amazing costume. It's amazing costume. And you've got to imagine the theatre's packed. There's 1,500 people in this theatre. And it's the opening night, and it's electric. And I'm dressed as this lion. And I've come on, done the opening song, and I'm down now, lying in front of the stage. I'm down at the front of the stage, lying at the front of the stage. And there's these ladies at the front, and I'm sitting there, and I said to her, "Do you want to touch my paws?" And I said, "My paws." And the roar that went up was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. And I did it every night, and every night it was sensational. And I never planned it. I didn't plan to do it. I didn't plan.
That's where the best stuff comes from, isn't it?
I was just going, I said, "You want, touch me?" I went, touch me. Go on, you want to touch my paws? I said, "My paws."
It's been absolutely brilliant, Dean. I can't thank you enough. And I know that everyone's going to be absolutely buzzing to watch you on this. So cheers for coming along.
Thanks very much. I'd like to thank everybody out there. And keep coming to the Gaiety. Remember, keep coming to the Gaiety. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
No, thank you, Dean. Well, there we are, ladies and gentlemen, the legend that is Dean Park. I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did. And thank you to everyone for watching at home. Your support never goes unforgotten. And if you can, send us a little donation to the Gaiety, and that helps them to keep these programmes going through this tough time. A huge thanks as well to all the crew here at the Gaiety, the staff in the office, and to AMD Studios. I've been Jerry Taylor, and this has been Gaiety Guests. See you all next time.